canonically, Ricky Martin has been on the show the whole time. Hello, welcome back to Glee on the Rocks. This is the podcast about the, I guess, hit TV show Glee. And every episode, we break down the highs and lows of the writing, the music, and the cultural impact of that TV show. I'm Emily.
I'm Mandy.
And I'm B.
And today we are talking about The Spanish Teacher, which is the third season, 12th episode. And I'm going to take the silence as kind of our general feeling.
I mean, there's Ricky Martin.
So yes. Yeah. So the key fact that anyone listening to this needs to know is that Ricky Martin is the guest star of this episode. And that's kind of all that happens.
Yeah, they kept a big focus on him for the whole episode.
They did. And so I was, I had very little recollection of this episode when I was rewatching it. And other than a couple of the performances, I was like, oh, right, they're going to do that. But when it got to the end, I guess this is spoiler alert, but he is offered a full-time position as the Spanish teacher at McKinley. And I was like, but then he's never seen again.
Never seen again.
So they gave him the job, but obviously Ricky Martin is not going to become a full-time cast member. So are we just assuming that David Martinez is walking around the halls of McKinley the entire time?
I guess we are just supposed to assume that.
And why have I not read that POV fic?
Yeah,
like, where is he in every fic? Just kind of like, oh, also that hot teacher that we have to go to once a day.
Yeah, where's the fic of like Cooper Anderson meeting David Martinez?
I would read that.
Yeah,
I would read that so hard.
Yeah,
like I wonder what happened to his night school Glee club after that.
Yeah,
they should have shown up in like the 6th season as the competition. Like, remember his night school Glee club?
Yeah. Oh, that would have been great. They had some fun characters in the night school. They had some interesting, stuff that Glee does best.
That's honestly kind of a shame, is that when you see a one-off like this and you're like, but these people are fascinating. Like, wait a minute.
Right?
Go back.
And then we never heard from them again.
This is a guy whose deep passion really is to teach and to shape minds and to share culture. And he's just going to disappear. And then he does.
And that's what happens on Glee. They get like the coolest celebrities, and
they do.
1 to 6 episodes later, they're gone forever.
I actually can't remember if David Martinez shows up in another episode.
I really don't think so.
I don't think he does.
That is such a shame. I guess we should rewind a bit and explain what's happening here.
Right.
So both Will Schuester and Sue Sylvester's teaching capabilities are questioned. There have been some complaints, and there also happens to be a spot open for tenure in a high school. I had to look this up. I guess you can get tenure as a high school teacher?
Okay, I was wondering also if that was real or not.
Yeah, I mean, I've literally never heard of that, but I guess...
I hadn't either, and like 30 seconds of a Google search said that you can have tenure as a high school teacher, and that still doesn't seem right to me.
I feel like it might have made sense somewhere at like Dalton.
Yeah.
But not a public school.
And I feel like maybe it's not the same as a professorship, but I don't know that.
Yeah.
This just pulled a memory deep out of my brain. My mom was an elementary school teacher, and there was tenure. It was like you worked a certain amount of years, and then you had to like go through some sort of process to get tenured. But then, of course, it makes it really hard to fire you. Mm-hmm. I'm guessing you get a raise or something. But yeah, they're okay. Yeah, that just out of the deep recesses of my brain. But it wouldn't be like in the episode where there's like one tenured position that only one existing teacher can get. Like that would be weird. Yeah.
Yeah, because tenure, okay, so it's there, but it's not, again, it's not quite what Glee is
Right.
going for. But the teachers are fighting over tenured positions, which they seem to have just heard about. And Mr. The episode, a lot hinges here on Mr. Shu's capabilities as a teacher, which are negligible.
Yes.
As we all know.
As we know, he wants this tenured position because he suddenly thinks that will secure his financial future, but he's still a public school teacher, so I don't know what he thinks how much more a tenured job might pay, but it's not. 2 public school teachers are not gonna make enough money.
He mentions at one point that it means that they're going to get health care, like health insurance now. Like, you didn't have health insurance?
Yeah, like what? And, we don't really hear them talking about money. But I have to imagine that neither he nor Emma make enough. But I did think that they would have health insurance. Especially if she's seeing a therapist and taking medication.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's what he's got to support.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For, which he should.
And apparently a baby.
Yeah.
So Schuster wants this tenured position, but as the opening of the episode of La Cucaracha shows us,
God,
he is a terrible Spanish teacher. And we also learn in this episode that he doesn't actually speak Spanish.
Yeah, and doesn't even have a grip on like basic vocabulary.
No, which I don't think was apparent in other episodes where he is teaching Spanish, which is mostly, I think, in the first season.
Yeah.
Because he's been the Spanish teacher the whole time.
Right.
How could he not picked up basic Spanish after the year?
I know. You'd think, I was going to say, you'd think at least a student would be able to teach him some basic conjugation, but how did he even get hired? And to think that, like, performing La Cucaracha would be a good idea.
And he even says in a little voiceover, he's like, they usually love this. Why don't they love it this year? And it's like, oh my God, you stupid man.
Did they love it?
Did they?
I liked his little voiceover of, how could I have become so out of touch? Like, where have you been this whole time?
Schuster really is that teacher who, like, is quoting memes at you and stuff. He's real, like, pastor meme. Yep. Yeah.
Figgins, taking some sort of authority, wants him to step up his game if he wants the tenured position, because other teachers are vying for it as well, including Sue, who also has a complaint filed against her, even though she's not a teacher and is in fact just the Cheerios coach. So I don't know how the administration in the school works.
I don't know how she would have been even remotely in the running for it. Like,
no,
that shouldn't have been even a question.
I feel like the hierarchy is like lunch lady, Coach Beast, and then maybe like a math teacher, and kind of like down the line. And eventually you get to Mr. Schuster.
That sounds right.
Who has never been lauded for his teaching capabilities. So in order to learn to do the thing that he has been doing for an unknown number of years, he goes to night school. To learn.
Which a whole semester of this night school takes place in one episode. Did you guys notice that?
Yeah, a whole semester takes place in one episode, but at the same time, exactly 1 week passes in this episode. Because that's how long Sam and Mercedes are not supposed to talk to each other, is 1 week.
Exactly.
So both occur in the same time frame.
Glee's time dilation, like, sometimes sticks out like a sore fucking thumb, and this one was a bad one. Yeah, I was like, what?
Yes.
So either Shu literally joined the last week of classes, or a whole semester went by.
And both. So he meets the former actor / tooth model, David Martinez, who is a highly capable Spanish teacher by virtue of, 1, being attractive and easy to watch, and 2, being fluent in Spanish.
Imagine that.
Imagine how that works. He connects to his students. He seems to enjoy being in front of a classroom. He wants to inspire people into the culture and the language and all those other things that teachers purport to do when they're good at their jobs. And Mr. Schuster realizes that he fucking sucks at his job and somehow doesn't quit immediately.
Because he needs that tenure.
But he needs that tenure. And he says in his little voiceover that all he really wants is to get a Teacher of the Year award, which we also just learned happens. And that
all these ambitions.
This has nothing to do with wanting to be better for his students. It's someone is better than me. I need to fix that. So
yeah, they really set up David Martinez as like truly his nemesis. Like they lay it on thick. Not only is he a great Spanish teacher, he is much more attractive, a really good singer and dancer.
Yes.
And also coaches the night school glee club, or wants to. So it's like, this man literally wipes the floor with you, Schuster.
He wipes the floor and he does all the same things without being egotistical about it.
Probably not a raging asshole to his girlfriend.
Probably not. Or
Because,
boyfriend.
Oh my God. Really. I forgot that scene between Will and Emma existed. And where, I mean, the scene where he's talking to her about how, like, he needs to be able to, like, support her or, like, take care of her. And then he just randomly starts taking digs at her pamphlets.
Yeah. He just flat out hates on her pamphlets, which are her shining accomplishments.
Yeah.
I like Emma saying that she can take care of herself, though.
Yeah.
Like, thank you for not being a, doormat, basically.
Well, I also like that she acknowledges that the point of the funny titles of, I mean, this is a little retconning, but like the funny titles of the pamphlets are to get people to read them.
And like they are funny.
Right.
Like
they are funny.
That was one of the small pleasures of Glee, to see what her pamphlets were titled. So
yeah. And I love when he apologizes to her. She like doesn't immediately like pat his ego or anything or tell him it's okay. Like she kind of like digs at him. She's like, yeah, it's a good try on your pamphlet names. Like, good try. I was like, yes, she's a big feminist this episode.
Yeah, she really got some moments there, especially if we're gonna hip hop jump around here, she gets the tenure.
That's right. I had forgotten. I was like, who the fuck gets tenure? So great.
I had kind of been hoping that it would be some random ass language arts teacher who had been there for like 6 years and all of her students had improved their test scores, which is not a marker of your intelligence at all, but is something that happens in schools, and like worked hard and was whatever, and she got, but no. So at least it's Emma.
Yeah. I mean, her pamphlets were adopted in all of the Big Ten schools
or
whatever, so that was huge.
And shout out to Shannon Beast for
caring about.
I was about to say like big upping her pamphlets. Like, wow, I just regressed to 1996 there for a minute.
Big up here.
Big ups to her pamphlets. Wow, God. That's probably all the Tylenol I'm taking.
Probably. Bless.
All those hard drugs affecting you.
Beast not only cared about her friend Emma and her success, but also her football team's jockstrap helped. So
yes, there was an unfortunate amount of time dedicated to jock itch.
Yeah.
But that's the first time I think they really tastefully handled something like that could be kind of icky, but it was like funny and like done well. And Beast is just like everything she said. She's like, they're kibbles and bits, blah blah blah. Like her metaphors just make everything like funny instead of like, oh, that's a little creepy. So I appreciated that.
I did too. That's when the writing is like, how come you can't do this all the time?
Yeah.
Yeah. Even their little, like, I didn't know you had to wash. Oh, lift and scrub.
Lift and scrub. Who knew it was so easy?
Oh.
Because speaking of which, in the same episode, Sue, like, solicits the teenage boys of the Glee Club for their sperm?
Yeah,
like,
she sure does. She just straight up asks underage boys to provide a donation.
With a side of homophobia and ableism.
Yes, just a little sampling of that on the other side.
Just to show that Glee has that flip side of moments that are genuinely funny that they make work, and then moments that are just like,
I know, which is so unfortunate too.
Yeah,
often in the same episode. Yeah,
she could have just asked the adults, like.
Right, like they have a lot of. They could have put a bunch of funny looking, sounding, male teachers.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible get up. That would have been funny.
Funny if it had been like Figgins and Bert, like every random male character in the show.
Yeah, she could have had them like line up in the auditorium. Like, I've asked you all here today.
She like sees David Martinez and grabs him and is like, "Oh, you!" Like know, like just integrated that right in.
Yep, but no, she went after the children. So maybe the complaint lodged against her was completely necessary.
Very valid.
Surprisingly,
the complaint wasn't about the sperm solicitation.
I know. It was just that she hadn't been paying enough attention to the Cheerios. Like, never mind the harassment happening on the other side of the locker room here. I did, however, I mean, it's a bit misogynistic, I think, but Roz Washington's full 2-minute rant, which we should probably just put the whole thing into the episode and sue copyright, but like her rant on whose vagina, like, I just, on her being old and giving birth to a full-grown man in a suit on his way to work. Like,
that is the note I made. I was like, I don't want the judgment on someone for wanting a family, but it's kind of funny. So
yeah. Her delivery of that was A+.
Yeah.
Nene Leakes and Roz Washington, like, I forgot what a blessing she is to this show, because I think they always have to have a character that like reads everyone for filth, and I think with it being like Santana, Sue, sometimes Kurt, like I feel like there's too many weird power dynamics there. I love that it's just a new person who is just like, very scrappy, and like, she's new and she's trying to make a name for herself, and she's just like, let me tell you, and I love it. It might be a little
based on her like qualification. She's like, yep, I got that bronze medal.
China.
All right.
Yeah.
She is a winner and she knows it. Yeah, and that the rant comes from an adult to another adult kind of helps. That it's not like
it comes from a woman to another woman. I helped, because if that had been like Will or something, I don't think I would have found it funny at all.
No, and it does help that Jane Lynch is in fact too old to have a baby. Like it's not like you're giving this rant at someone who's 34. Right. It's like this, Sue Sylvester's like a 60-year-old woman. Like there's no shame here of being a slightly older mother. It's flat out physically impossible.
Wait, how old is Jane Lynch?
She is who can Google the fastest?
Yeah.
Called it 60.
She was like mid-50s, early 50s. Yeah.
So, still 20 years past when that's going to happen.
Pregnancies begin, right?
What is it? Isn't it like 35 that it's a geriatric pregnancy?
If you guys didn't know, at 35, you are a geriatric pregnancy, treated as very high risk, even though plenty of people have healthy pregnancies at 30 and 40s. But yeah.
Isn't that wild? 35?
Geriatric. Mm-hmm.
So my non-existent children I will never have would be born to a geriatric parent as of now.
Yeah. It's okay. It's okay, Mandy. Just freeze your eggs in the freezer of the Kroger. It's fine. Do it yourself.
I'll pass on that, but I appreciate Glee's optimism.
And then was it Emma who was like, I think being a mother would be good for you? Like, okay, being a mom does not change people's inner self.
No.
Like, you can't
need to traumatize a child for self-growth.
Yeah.
Like, let's not do that.
Just, if you want to think of her as raising children, think of her trying to teach high school students and how well that goes.
Yeah, really. If she wants to make a difference on a child's life, like, there's a lot of them out there.
He's like, what did she say? She wanted Will Schuster's baby junk because she doesn't want her kids to feel the rage she feels. Like, well, then go to a therapist and stop taking it out on teenagers.
This episode doesn't exactly paint a non-rageful picture of
No.
his sister.
No, it doesn't. No, he's a bit vindictive in this episode, and certainly doesn't treat his fiance particularly kindly. God. So, I guess we could just kind of skip right over the music.
There's like one song that I thought was good.
Yeah.
Let me guess. Was it La Isla Bonita?
Bonita, that's the one. That's the only one.
I mean, but really though, Sexy and I Know It is just kind of fun.
Oh, it was so fun. Yeah. It really took me back though. Remember when LMFAO was like,
oh yeah,
famous?
Sure do.
Like a big deal. Wow.
Remember those guys? You guys. It was definitely a song that was like, oh, we're gonna do a Spanish thing. What's famous on the radio right now?
Right. Very dated.
Soup. And then it's like they just picked some Latin-ish performers. Like, oh, Gloria Estefan.
Right.
Enrique Iglesias.
Yeah.
Like, okay, those are the only ones that people are gonna know, so let's go for it.
I know. And then
where was the Selena?
I know. Like they
That
could
would've
have
been cool.
they could have done so much more, and instead they were like, oh, or you can like add Spanish lyrics to an English song, and it's like,
So
it's not Latin week.
I can't. So Sexy and I Know It was just fun. Mercedes singing Don't Want to Lose You would not have been my preferred Gloria Estefan song, but she sounds great. There's definitely songs that are more, a little more Miami Sound Machine vibe, right?
Right. They could have done a whole week just Gloria Estefan.
They really could, which would have been
really wanted to. That'd be
a lot of fun. Isn't she on the... Okay, she comes on the show, right?
She is. Oh, yeah. Who does she play?
Is she...
She plays Santana's mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But that comes later, I think.
Yes, much later. Okay, not much later. I think it's the end of this season.
You know what? Time doesn't mean anything.
Later.
A little later. And the Bombaleo with the shoes, I couldn't... Right. Why did you have Sam sing this?
Well, because he and Mercedes can't talk, but they can sing. It's a loophole.
That's true.
But
why not just sing here? Like you could have done an Enrique Iglesias. Yeah, why is it a mashup with like a traditional song? I mean, I guess traditional, slightly traditional, and then Hero, which could have been its own fucking song.
Okay, I'm kind of glad he didn't do Hero though, because it's like a ballad, and I didn't want to listen to that.
You didn't want to hear a whole song of his very slight Enrique Iglesias accent that he was doing.
I know, it wasn't good. But
although I will say,
Kurt was cute.
I wrote that down. I was like, man, Kurt looks real good in that red shirt.
Yes, Kurt's adorable in that song. And
he
says, he's like, I'm just in it for the shoes. I was like, oh.
Yep, he actually looked like he was having a good time.
Yeah, missing Blaine.
I at least like that they referenced.
They did.
Blaine.
Yeah.
Tina isn't in this episode either, randomly.
Okay, see, I saw the first number that the Sexy and I Know It, and I was like, where's Sam? And then I was like, wait, where's Mercedes? And then the next like scene is them at counseling with Emma, and I was like, oh, but I didn't even notice Tina wasn't in this episode.
Yeah,
wow,
she's not in this episode, and I actually am not entirely sure why.
I think they reference it in a couple of episodes. They'll be like, that weird swine flu that
Asian bird flu.
Yeah.
I did notice that I looked it up. This is the 7th episode where Rachel does not have a solo.
Oh my god, like in a row?
I don't think in a row, just period. Just
wow. In 3 seasons.
In 2.5 seasons, yeah.
Wow.
I know. La Isla Bonita is great. It's super hot. Yes. She in no way seems like a teenager, which kind of helps in this regard, because I was like, I can't watch a teacher and a student sing this to each other.
It would have been better if David Martinez had been like canon gay, and then she was dating Brittany.
That would have like worked. Yeah.
We're just hot Latinx people. We're gonna put on a show.
Yeah. Now, he's not canon straight.
That's true. Plausible deniability.
But then, after an entire week or month, it's either a week or a semester that happens in this episode. I'm not entirely sure. Of Mr. Schuster watching these performances, I guess going to class with David and potentially learning something, he still puts on a matador costume and then doesn't sing any sort of traditional number. He sings a Spanish version of A Little Less Conversation
that he translated himself poorly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like he didn't see these other performances and was like, oh, I still don't get it, I've made a mistake, and then fix it. He just does it
with the matador
full
matador garb. I couldn't say it. And the fucking bull.
It's just so bad.
Costumes.
What? I did like Finn's quote of "What's up with the shiny coat? I thought you were Kurt."
Yeah, that was good.
But other than that, like, how did you still do this? Like, you didn't learn anything.
And then Santana had to set him straight again, and she was so nice, honestly. Like, she could have been way meaner.
Yeah, I liked her not even a rant, just her telling him straight up, like, you're perpetuating stereotypes. And I appreciated that he did admit that he only took the Spanish job because it was the only open position, but I'm still confused as to how the school hired him. As if there were no other Spanish teachers in the whole of Ohio.
But it's Glee.
And that also means that because they seem to be a similar age, I'm assuming David Martinez went up for that job. And they picked Schuster instead.
That made sense.
Right. Maybe he's like 1 year younger. He like just missed out.
He just missed out. And they kept this fucker on. Santana does tell him that the only thing he's good at is teaching Glee, which I still think is a
question stretch.
That's a bold statement.
Good is like in air quotes.
It's
relatively good.
I'm just gonna that Santana has nothing to judge that by, because
right.
The Glee teacher she's ever had, and hope in the future she understands better.
Yeah. Like, imagine what they could do if they had someone like Martinez teaching them.
God, they should have a better frame of reference. It's like you had Shelby Corcoran teaching you for a while.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, okay, Santana.
Yeah, she's part of the Trouble Tone. She should know better.
I feel like it was just like she couldn't start too much beef because they needed to wrap it up quickly. It's at the end of the episode.
The final commercial break was coming, and there was a moment too, and I think I forgot to write it down, where maybe it was Mercedes singing "Don't Want to Lose You," and then there was a commercial break, but since I was watching it on Netflix, there was no break, and it went right into the next song. And like,
oh yeah,
the whiplash was like, what happened? I can't. Yeah,
that's weird. True. Yeah, I think it went straight to Sam solo after that. Yeah,
that was
weird.
It was an odd, like, oh, this is why we need commercial breaks sometimes.
Yeah.
Stupid. So Shu goes to Figgins to tell him to hire David Martinez as the full-time Spanish teacher, and he does. So as we mentioned at the beginning, canonically, Ricky Martin has been on the show the whole time.
Yep. Just
in a different classroom, I guess.
Just off screen. He's just out of the line of camera. Mm-hmm. Yeah, every time.
And it's like watching The Haunting of Hill House. Like, if you just look in the corner of the frame, you might get a glimpse of David Martinez walking into a classroom really quickly. If that's, someone could just Photoshop him in, that would be great.
That's official canon from now on.
Official, we've decided. For now and forever. We got some Sam and Mercedes. There's not a ton that happened here that's new. They are still kind of will they, won't they, ing.
Very angsty, little pining action.
Little pining. with no real resolution, which is fine. Kind of keep it going. Poor Shane.
I appreciate this like multi-episode arc. At least it's yeah, a little slow burn. It's a refresher after people would literally get together and break up like in the same episode. So
yeah, they have 2 multi-episode arcs happening.
Yeah,
right now.
Yeah,
my God, that's true. I mean, only a 50% success rate in terms of things I want to see, but still, too intense.
That's true.
Aw. Yeah, there were other. This show was really kind of taken up by kind of one big storyline, but there were other couple little moments. There was Kurt, Mercedes, and Rachel watching Twilight at a sleepover.
Twilight.
Where Rachel tells them that Finn proposed, and she said yes. And then we get the glorious shot of Kurt's face when Rachel asks him what he would say if Blaine proposed, because we know the answer.
Thanks, Marty Noxon.
Thank you, Gleek of the Week, Marty Noxon, for letting us know that he would say yes. Which, again, they're 12. They shouldn't get married. However,
it's nice to know that he wants to.
That's
yes. Right. And that if you've seen the box scene, you know the answer to this. If you didn't watch that, that might be confusing. It does then
nobody got to at the time, but
yeah, that's true. It does prompt Kurt to go have a little chat with Finn about his future.
Which I really liked that.
I did too. It was finally someone telling Finn that he's good enough the way he is.
Right. And that he's not even just good enough. He's like, he's good. Like, he's unique. Mm-hmm. Like, he doesn't have to be like everybody else. That's a good thing. Like, that was really, really.
Which is, it's another failure on Shu's part where he's constantly telling everybody that, like, you're unique and special and the Glee Club is awesome. Like, yes, but you have one of your key figures constantly feeling like he sucks and you haven't seemed to have noticed that.
Right. Wow.
That's true. Maybe take a peek, Mr. Schuster, at what's happening here. Why would he do that? He's not going to do that.
No, he's just asking Finn to be his best man and shit like that. Like, that's just his bud.
Maybe they can have like a combo wedding. Because,
it's okay. That's season 6.
I would say, because Glee does like to do their time-saving combo weddings.
Why is that such a thing on TV? No one would ever do that.
I think it really is just so that you don't have 2 episodes of weddings.
Yep.
So you just don't have to
like combo wedding like that in real life.
Other than going to a Vegas drive-thru right behind someone else, I guess.
Oh, right. True.
Like you're just next in line.
Well, like in my world, I know so many, like I have so many friends who are engaged and we're all getting married around the same time and it's okay. Like there will just be different weekends where different people are getting married. That's a good thing. But, you know, TV, cinematic arcs and all that jazz.
That's real hard.
Yeah. Can't the same thing.
Can't do that. We do get the little moment where when asked where will you be in 2030, both Kurt and Rachel say Broadway twinsies, which
was kind of cute. It was cute.
It is then followed by Puck saying dead or in jail or both,
which is
accurate. Good. And this is following an episode where Finn finds out that his dad OD'd.
I will say the flip side of that, the Puck comment is when Kurt and Finn are talking and Kurt's like, you have time, that had me a little sad.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
I know. There's some stuff, like, all of a sudden the show, in retrospect, is like, oh, God.
Yeah.
Not that they could have possibly known at the time. Well, you can't totally predict the future, but that's another question we have for this show.
Glee is not a documentary, but it might be an oracle.
Yeah, right? Like, there might be a little something happening here.
That's terrifying.
And, it is. Yeah. So I guess we have to lock Chris and Darren in an elevator?
Yes. That's if I learned anything from Glee.
The oracle demands it.
They'll be safe there.
They'll be safe. The oracle demands. Obviously, we can cut this.
I'll start working on the Sue Sylvester mini puppet. Don't worry.
Perfect. It is Halloween coming up, so that will be super cute.
This is some real misery stuff here. I love it.
Oh no.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Cut that.
I do love this movie though. I wouldn't mind breaking Murphy's ankles though. I mean, what?
What? Terrible. A disclaimer. That is a joke. Anything you hear on this podcast.
It's a joke. We, as someone currently walking on 2 broken ankles, I would never suggest
any resemblance to actual people or events.
We just need to edit in the word allegedly before every single sentence we say.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, I would love to break Brian Murphy's ankle.
Allegedly, this was a good show.
Allegedly.
Please don't sue us or arrest us. I don't really have anything else to say about this episode.
Yep. That's that, I guess.
That's about
the indices and the faves.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite song?
I'm going to say Mercedes song.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I feel like you've got the other one I liked covered already.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I just like Mercedes getting a solo in an episode where Rachel did it.
Yeah. Yes, that is super true. Yeah. Do we have any favorite lines?
I liked Kurt's whole speech to Finn. I didn't write down any specific lines, though.
Just the whole thing.
Just
it was good.
Thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like Chris getting that kind of stuff to act with.
Mm-hmm. Yep. For sure.
I also thought it was funny that, sad that Finn was like, the proof's in the pudding and my pudding pretty much sucks. I'm like, I don't know if that was supposed to be funny, but I laughed. He always almost gets the phrases right.
Yeah.
So right. Yeah, he almost gets it. I did just like Roz Washington's rant.
Yes.
And the whole thing about, I mean, it's inappropriate, but the kibbles and bits from the feast, it just flowed so well.
I also thought it was sweet when Mercedes was like, Sam just tweeted that I smell good, and he said, I won't stop till it's trending.
Oh yeah.
That was cute.
That was fun.
It's kids these days and their tweets.
That one still holds up.
It does. That's still a technology that we're using.
We've come a long way since season 1 talking about Facebook.
It would have been funny if like somewhere in here was if they were talking about their well, they do. They mention a MySpace page in the very beginning.
Oh, damn it.
Rachel's MySpace page. Yeah. I was just thinking like, what if Sam was like, oh, I put you in my top 8? Like, how's our Kevin McScale?
Got some lines.
Yeah. He got a little choreography all to himself in the Sexy and I Know It. Like I did like that Martinez did a little choreography in the chair so that Kevin / Artie could do a little something with him. So like a 2, maybe?
I feel like, he had lines, he got to dance.
That's about all we can ask from him these days. I feel like the Klainedex gets like a 1. And that's in part.
Blaine's not even in the episode.
He's not even in the episode, but he is referenced.
That's true.
Yeah. I think the marriage part and them keeping Kurt company while Blaine recovers, they weren't the one.
So maybe like a 2 for the background.
Yeah, I feel like a 2 for the marriage thing. Mm-hmm.
Okay. What's our coulda, shoulda, woulda?
They could have had Ricky Martin come back ever again. So
that's true. That's good enough for me.
I feel like that's in the 75. I feel like he was great. He's so fun and charismatic, and he had a lot of like authentic moments too, like talking about being the child of immigrants and like struggling to make it, and like having so much passion for teaching. Like, and I think they really could have made him more of a enemies to friends or something with Shu.
Mm-hmm. I did think that this was one of those episodes where I had like the little thought bubble of there's another show here where it's about the teachers and them like a community style show, but with teachers.
Right.
Where they're all just like vying for the best class. They're dealing with administration and bureaucracy. Someone has to chaperone the football game, you know, like that kind of adult.
I would watch that.
And then then the kids are like, occasionally a student crops up. Because you could have a whole episode of just Coach Washington trying to usurp Coach Sue. Like,
yeah.
So yeah, this was one of those. Yeah.
I was going to say her little piece of choreography for the Cheerios was fun.
It was fun.
Like,
yeah.
She's got good ideas.
So yeah, this was one of those where I was like, oh, there's a whole other show here where the teachers are living their own lives, trying to get on top of the school hierarchy and deal with their own personal lives, where we're not trying to mash the two together. And then Mr. Martinez could have, you know, he's the new guy at the school. He's got
especially
ideas.
Like he's good looking.
He's real good looking.
Yeah, that would have been a whole thing.
And Ricky Martin's like not a bad actor.
Yeah. It was fun. It was good. No, I totally agree. I think that's maybe what Glee was going to be. Well, that's giving maybe too much credit, but I think that's what Glee maybe wanted to be, something like that. And Lea Michele, Chris Colfer and company were so good.
Right. Yeah, because the early season had a lot more of the other teachers.
Right, yeah.
No. Any final thoughts?
No thoughts, head empty.
That is the name of the game, man.
Name.
I mean, yes. In general, but also this episode just didn't inspire much.
It didn't. No, it was just kind of like, oh, cool.
Yeah. Oh, I do have a final thought. Emma and Will should not get married.
No, they should not.
Girl, no. No.
Girl, no.
No.
Agreed. Run.
Well, spoiler alert, she does, I guess, so.
Yeah. Can't wait to root for her in that episode.
Can't wait.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Slight spoilers, but honestly, we've all seen this show, so like, come on. So I guess that is the Spanish teacher. Everyone, please remember that Martinez is canonically now a teacher who has been there the entire time.
And remains there.
Mm-hmm. To this day, roaming the halls of McKinley. Forever and always. Our next episode is the Valentine's Day episode.
Oh, yay.
And the return of Blaine Anderson and his sparkly heart eye patch.
Yes.
And to make sure you hear that episode, make sure you follow us on social media, Instagram and Twitter. We always post there with like episode updates. And then you can follow us on Spotify, subscribe on Apple iTunes podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts.
We also made a YouTube channel just for funsies.
Oh, yeah.
There's no special content. It's just if you prefer to have YouTube up in the background, we're posting our episodes there now. So you can...
You will not see live video of these podcasts being recorded, but...
No, but you know what? You might at some point catch a glimpse of a podcat. I'm not making any promises, but we could just set up a live stream of the podcasts.
I was about to say, what if we do set up a camera while we record, but it's just of the cats?
If we could keep any of our cats still for that long.
Around cats.
I know.
It would be more like a find the cat game.
Yeah.
I love
that. All right, well, that is this episode. So stay safe, stay healthy, wash your hands, and that is what you missed on Bambaleo? I don't know.
I can be your hero, baby.
That's what you missed on Hero?
There you go.